Okay, this is the Scientific Lindburgh Blue M high temperature furnace. And I just want to point out it's using the Yoko Gala UP55A. And right now I'm running in local set point mode. And it does have the capability, it's very sophisticated temperature controller, and it does have a lot of functionality, and you can run ramp soaks, segment type programs on it. But for test purposes, I'm just running a local set point, and in order to set that, you just need to hit the set button. You can step across. You can see here's our set point, and if I wanted to change it to 1100, I would do something like that, but I'm going to keep it at 1200, which is the high temperature. You just hit enter, and starting off, it uses 208 single phase. We have your on-off switches here. Up top here is an exhaust. I have that hooked up. It's opened up, and there is a line to feed some gas through the back. So right now I'm running it up to high temperature. I slowly ramped it up over the last couple of hours. From 11 to 1200 it's going to take a little longer, so it's doing about a degree a minute. I just want to point out too, I did download a PDF file for this temperature controller, and we'll send a copy of that along with the unit. And what we'll do is we'll come back when it's at 1200 to show you that it does actually reach 1200 degrees Celsius. And tomorrow after it cools, we'll take a look at the inside. And as you can see, we're at the maximum temperature of the furnace here at 1200. Actually, we're at 1201.6. It's slightly overshot, but at least this indicates that we can reach the maximum temperature. Again, the exhaust is still connected. So tomorrow we'll come back, we'll take a look at the inside. I'll show you that there's one shelf involved in there, and that'll be it. Okay, the furnace is cooled down to below 100 degrees Celsius. It's at 88 right now. Local set point set at 37. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and open the door. And take a look at the inside. You see that it has one shelf, and then you've got your lower platform here. Just one thing to point out, I cleaned the two latches here, upper and lower, as well as the bottom catches. And I aligned them up so it looks like it may have not been aligned perfectly. That's why we got some of this discoloration. So when you go to shut the door, you just want to make sure you put it in front, and then just give it a good push, and that'll close it up, seal it up. Pull it out to open it, and it'll swing open. Just one thing to point out, there is a door switch here, which is part of the interlock chain that won't allow this light to turn on, which indicates that the main contactor powering the heater circuit is not activated. So it's just a safety interlock. If you open the door and that switch is not made, you'll see that this light turns off. The contactor, there's no more power being applied to the SSR heater circuit. The other thing I want to point out, this little hole down here, I had to add a 3/8 inch stainless steel pipe leading from the back. So I was told that you want to use, you may be putting inert gas into the furnace, so that line is now hooked up and tested. And your exhaust port is up top. One other thing I want to point out too, let's close this up. As you can see, the light has turned on as I close the door. The contact has been made, which enables power to the heat circuit. Right now we're in local set point mode. I'm just going to show you, I put in a high temperature over limit alarm into the controller here, which is part of the interlock chain. So if the temperature goes above the high limit, you'll see that this light will turn off, indicating that the contactor is opened up. So then releasing power to the circuit. So to set that, I have it set at 525 right now. But if you want to change your high temperature alarm, what you'll do is press the parameters button for 3 seconds. And then you're going to step over to alarm. Hit set. And A1 is the only alarm that's enabled right now, and as you can see, I have it set at 525. Let's bring that down just to show that it's working. So in order to change that, we're going to hit set. We'll step over to $25. I'll hit enter, and you probably heard the contactor shut off and the light shuts off. That's just showing you that the high temperature alarm is working. So what I'll do is I'll go back and change it. I'll set it back up to 525. And now it's enabled in that. Oh, the other thing too is, let's go back to display. I do have a ramp soak program in there, PT number 1 set up. I think there's a 2 in there too. I haven't checked that, but it hasn't been deleted. So let's go ahead again, hold parameters for 3 seconds. OPEM program, we'll hit set enter. At this point you can select what program you want to program, or what pattern number, that's what PTNO stands for. So we're going to keep pattern number 1. Segment 0, so that's your start segment. That's your start set point. I have it set to 37 degrees. And so that's about all you need to put in. No, we don't want to change it. We're going to keep that. Alright, so using the right arrow, we're looking at the target set point for segment number 1. So we're going to start at 37. We're going to ramp to 500 degrees Celsius in 30 minutes. So I hit the down arrow to indicate the time. And the way the time is set here is hour, dot, minute. So that indicates that we're at 30 minutes. Down again, it's using a PID, which is set up. You'll have to read the manual on how to change it, but this PID that's set up in here works fairly well. And then the JC, this is just the wait. It's going to wait till it hits 500 before it moves on to segment number 2. The rest of the settings here, they're not being used. They're for events. All of them are off. So we'll step back up to target set point, and by using the right arrow, I can then look at segment number 2. I have set at 500 for 1 hour. Roger told me that you're going to probably be running it at 500 for 24 hours. What I'll do is I'll change this number to 24. Okay. Using the same PID. And this JC means it's just going, once the 24 hours is up, it'll continue on to segment number 3. Again, none of the events are being used, so the rest of the list is not programmed. And then finally, we'll look at segment number 3, which is just bringing it back down to 37 degrees. Doing it in an hour and a half, so it starts to ramp down slowly. And then once this segment's done, it's going to revert back to the local mode, and it'll come out of program mode. So that's how you program your segment. I have it set now for a half-hour ramp up, 24-hour hold at 500 degrees, and then it'll slowly ramp down. So if you need to make any changes, you'll have to go again into this segment programmer. So to get out of that, I'll just hit the display. As you can see, we're in local set point mode here. Again, to get to that, I just want to show you too. You would have to hit mode. That's remote mode. Hit display again. Alright, so what's by hitting the display here shows that we're in local set point mode. The output is 0, so the SSR is not turned on. For pattern number 1, we have a segment, it's in segment 0 of 3. And this is the shape that it'll look like. So it's a ramp, soak, and then a ramp down. So anyway, in order to start your program, all you need to do is, first of all, you want to select it. So we're selected to 1, and like I said, I think there's another one in there. That's 2, but that's it. That's all that's programmed. So we'll just make sure it's on 1, and then we'll just go ahead and hit run, and just press the run button for a few seconds, and you'll see it'll start up. Okay, so this is indicating that it's ramping. This is the temperature it's calling for it. As you can tell, we're still above that temperature. So if you were to look at the out, that's your target set point. This is your time. We'll come back in a little while. And this is your output. So it's putting out very little. To reach that, and we'll see that the output will increase as this number, the set point, is higher than the actual process value. And we should see the timer timing down. So what we'll do, we'll come back in a few minutes and we'll see it in ramp, and then once it's in soak, we'll take a look at it then. Alright, we came back here now. We got the R.tim means remaining time in segment number 1. You can see we're still in the ramp portion. We're down to 4 minutes. We're at 435 degrees. Just hit display again. See our output's at 90%. So it's almost full out. Here we are, segment 1 of 3. Here's a pattern, and you can see we're in the ramp portion. This is the set point the controller wants to be at during the ramp. You can see it's at 445. It's a little less, that's why we're at 90%. Just trying to keep up with that. Again, I'm only ramping from room temperature to 500 in 30 minutes. So it's a quick ramp. Target set point is 500. And we're back to 4 minutes. So we'll come back in a few minutes. I want to show you how this is going to wait until we actually do hit 500 before it'll switch to the soak segment of 24-hour soak at 500. So we'll be back in a few minutes. Alright, you see there's 0 time remaining. We're at 493. So you see this W.time came on. So it's actually waiting until it hits 500 before it'll move on to the second segment. And let's see where we're at here. So the output's, you see it's starting to drop because it's getting close to the set point. It's still in segment 1. It's flashing for the first segment. And our set point's 500. So what will happen here is once it does hit 500, you're going to see it's going to shift to the soak. The soak again is set for 24 hours. And yeah, I guess that'll be it with the demonstration. Let's just verify that it does switch over. And there you go. And there's your 24-hour time. It's at 500. Now it's going to overshoot a little bit, but it'll drop back down and settle in at 500. Last time I did it, it overshot by about 5 or 6 degrees. So anyway, that's the end of the demonstration. After the 24 hours, it will continue on to segment 3, which is it'll just turn the heaters off and drop down to 37 degrees. It'll never reach it in the hour and a half, but within an hour and a half, it'll switch over to local mode. Just be certain that your local mode is set to, I don't think you can see it now where I'm running, but it's set to 37, so So in order to get out of this, if you want to quit the program at this point, you can go ahead and just hit the reset button, hold that, and it'll take it out of program mode. So then I'll want to switch to local and turn that on. And there's our local set point at 37. Again, if you ever want to run it in local mode, you can always change your set point by hitting enter. This is without a program. Let's run this up to 537. Again, our alarm set at 525, so we're just going to verify that the alarm circuit is working, the high temperature alarm. So once it hits 525, it should kick off the contactor and this red light should turn off. So let's go ahead, and the output's full output at 100. It should get there in a few, doesn't take that long to heat up. So we'll come back when it gets close to 525. All right, this is just a demonstration in case somebody inadvertently sets the temperature above the alarm point. You're going to see when it hits 525, it'll kick off the contactor and remove the power from the heat circuit. And there it goes. All right, that's all we have to demonstrate here.